Hello, everybody, and welcome in. We are back one last time until the weekend for our final division here at Flat Out Racing North America. Nolander B fam coming in with all that love over on Facebook. Hope you're doing fantastic, my guy. Appreciate all that support. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I am 13 minutes late this evening. I walked in the door about 19 minutes ago. So all things considered, we got live pretty quickly here tonight. But I do apologize. Real life interfered a little bit here with the broadcast time today, and we just got on as quick as we could. So with that being said, that is going to run our race a little bit longer here tonight, so I don't know if we're going to have podium interviews from our drivers or not, depending on the time and all that great stuff. But I believe I've been sent some write-ups just in case. I just haven't had time to check yet. But we are here. Pro-Am Lobby 2, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty small grid here tonight for this race. We only have 9 drivers on the racetrack, which is super unfortunate. But many guys could be away and or had other obligations to deal with. So I'm going to see a small grid, but that's not going to stop the fact that we're going to have some pretty crazy racing action here tonight. Much like the AM division with a very small lobby this past weekend, the racing was still absolutely fantastic. So it should be much of the same here tonight, I would imagine. So, presented by Flat Out Racing North America, ladies and gentlemen. We are sponsored by GTR Simulators and Apex Racing. Our graphics provided by Hypre Graphics. And, of course, our driver's list and our little Alsace dealio right beside it on the right there comes from our media guru, Yanni, who is in our pro division here as well. So, huge shout out to Yanni for the nice little touches to add into the broadcast here as well. So, much like the rest of the divisions we've seen here today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have 3 times tire wear and 4 times fuel consumption. So every time these race drivers go around the racetrack for a lap, they're using 3 laps worth of fuel and 4 laps worth of tire wear on these Subaru BRZ 300Ti GT3 race cars. So it's going to be interesting. Pro-Am 1 guys showed some pretty good pace on the racetrack around Alsace here last evening on the broadcast. So let's see what our Pro-Am 2 guys have in store. Now, we did see a couple of different strategies throughout the week, through all the divisions. We did see a one-stop strategy, which is not the powerful strategy here for round 2 this week, as we've seen through some of the other broadcasts here. So we may see some drivers opt to do a one-stop strategy here. It did do Egon very well in our Pro-Am 1 division broadcast here last night, as it did get him a 3rd place finish on the podium. So not saying that's not a good strategy, but most of the drivers often go with a 2-stop strategy here this week. So again, the second part of the strategy here, the 2-stop strategy. Most of the drivers probably go start on a medium tire, run them for an elongated stint, 10, 11, 12 laps, and then you'll see them jump onto a set of soft tires for about 7, 8 laps, and then you'll see them jump onto another set of soft tires for about 7 or 8 laps. In that order, not specifically, but something like that. That has been the fairly dominant strategy here in all the divisions, and has been the winning strategy here this week in round 2 at Alsace Village. So, much like Watkins Glen, it's a very good flowing, twisting racetrack. But unlike Watkins Glen, this is not really designed for a high-speed, twisting, winding racetrack. This is more designed to be a mid-speed technical racetrack, as opposed to just having some of these bigger cars coming out here and just putting the pedal to the metal and going around as fast as they can. There is a lot more detail required for our drivers to pay attention to as they're going around the racetrack here. So we will have 25 laps here at Alsace Village. We got Flores Caesar coming in with that thumbs up as well. Much love, my guy. We got one of the THG drivers here coming in to show some love too. I'm assuming his boy Corey GT35 here. We got Stefan coming in with that thumbs up as well. Much love, everybody. Welcome in to all our returning viewers. Welcome back again for our 5th race of the week here, and our final one until Saturday Night Live, which will, of course, be our AM Division drivers. And we're going to throw something a little extra spicy for you guys this week in our AM Division. We're going to bring in a special guest to come and co-host with us as well. We're not going to tell you who that special guest is. We're just going to let your imaginations run wild for a couple of days, and you'll have to tune in on Saturday to find out who the other gentleman behind the mic is for the AM Division drivers on Saturday. But with that being said, the focus here today is round 2 of Alsace Village on our Pro-Am 2 division. So, I mean, without further ado, there's no reason to continue delaying the inevitable here. So let's flip you over to the live screen here, and we're going to take a look at our driving order. Now, this race was ran on Sunday, this past Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that are a little confused why we're not going to see some qualifying, Corey coming in with that thumbs up as well. Much love, my dude. Appreciate all the support. So what went down for qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, is these drivers had 10 minutes to get around the track as fast as they could and put in the absolutely best time they could on the racetrack. So basically, the drivers that came out on the soft tires had an out lap and 4 hot laps, and the drivers that came out on the medium tires had to take a pit stop to get onto the soft tires, had essentially an out in and an out lap and 3 hot laps in order to put their best time in. So let's go through our order. In pole position is THG Corey GT35. He was our winner last week at Watkins Glen, so sitting pretty sweet right here, sitting on pole position, point in hand before the race even starts. It's a good feeling as a driver when you know you're already picking up a point. You haven't even had to race yet. We have OBR driver Miguel RM as well, sitting here in second place. We saw him have a pretty good race last week. We've got Sweaty Palms here in third place as well. We've got OBR driver Painani in fourth place. We've got Fuentes in fifth place, so good qualifying for Fuentes there. Mao in sixth. We've got Turner in seventh. We've got JM in eighth, and THG Tron Kobe in ninth place. Now, Tron Kobe was just Tron Kobe last week, so new addition to the THG racing team here is Tron Kobe, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do for the team as he just jumps into a new environment, a new atmosphere with a whole new group of guys. So fantastic news for Tron Kobe, as of course we do get the opportunity to broadcast Tron Kobe racing in other leagues as well. So fantastic to see that he's opted to join a team and continue to work on his skill as a race car driver. So congratulations to Tron Kobe on joining racing team THG. Absolutely fantastic stuff. So that's our lineup. Small field here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 9 guys. So we have 6 drivers not in the field here today, which is a little bit shocking. But hey, you know, that's the way it goes. Let's go, Corey GT. Hey, Fax. I'm just going to do a quick monitor on the stream here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Excited for this one, says David Walters, over on the Flat Out YouTube there. So fantastic stuff. We're just going to check to make sure everything's working good, and it does seem to be doing so before we get into the broadcast. All right. Fantastic. Again, because I was rushing to get on so quickly, I just want to make sure everything is beautiful for you guys. We got some game audio. All right, I think we're good to go here, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, kick them tires, light them fires, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to go racing. Let's get it on. Let's get Pro-Am 2 lobby underway. 25 laps around Alsace Village, round 2, presented by Flat Out Racing North America, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget to follow them on their Instagram, pinned in the comments in the Facebook channel, and Flat Out Racing North America YouTube there. And for more information on one of our title sponsors, GTR Simulators, their link for their website is also posted in both those channels as well in the pinned comments. Go check out what GTR Simulators has to offer. They got some great sim racing rig setups. They also have full setups of wheels and pedals that can come with the rigs. They have all sorts of different types of rigs that fit in all kinds of different styles and spaces, so definitely go check them out. And don't forget to tell them that you heard about them from Flat Out Racing North America, ladies and gentlemen. And we do appreciate all the support here at GT45 Gaming, as I am the host here for the evening for the final time here until Saturday night. So let's get it going, shall we? Let's get it going. All right, so we're going to wait for those lights to go red. We're at 3, we're at 4, we're at 5. Short or long light, we're about to find out. Very lengthy light here tonight, and they're off. They are going to release these drivers, and here we go. So we are underway here for a Pro-Am 2 lobby. And round 2, ladies and gentlemen. Corey gets a great start there. He doesn't even really need to defend as he coming into corner 1, so he just gets around nice and neat and tidy. He's going to stay in the race lead. Miguel comes in right in behind in second place. Painani grabbing a spot there from 4th to 3rd place coming around corner 1. We got Mao there in 4th place just behind these guys. And looks like we got 3 OBR drivers all in a line up there. We've got Sweaty Palms here as well. We got JM taking a look on the outside, and then we got a whole bunch of the OBR guys here in the field here today. So looking good and very solid early on in this the race. We got Tyrone Kobe grabbing 2 spots here very early on, moving up into 7th place. We've got Fuentes dropping down to 8th, and Turner just dropping into the backside of the field here. Maybe a little bit of strategy from some of these drivers, but very early on in the race, 25 laps is a long time. Ooh, we got Miguel getting a little bit wide there. Ooh, he did a really great job of keeping it together, but he is under pressure from teammate Painani. Painani is going to grab that position. Mao is also going to slot in around there, and he's going to tuck right back in behind, and he's got Sweaty Palms coming deep. Ooh, Sweaty Palms read that he was going to go a little bit wide out of the exit there and just stayed back. Great job by Sweaty Palms, still chasing here in 5th place. JM just behind, and ooh, getting dangerous there, getting down into that dirt on that apex. That can typically grab the nose of these cars and really spin them around, so we got really fortunate there that wasn't the case there. And as we heard from some of our drivers talk about in their podium interviews throughout the week here, from the other divisions as well, the curbs here at Alsace Village are just not user friendly. So Trone in 7th, we got Turner here in 8th, we got Fuentes in 9th, Corey here still leading our race. I apologize about the background noise, ladies and gentlemen. We have Painani here in P2 with Mao in 3rd place. We have Miguel here in 4th. Sweaty Palms here in 5th place, and look at these guys go. JM in 6th with Trone Kobe here in 7th, and Trone is just being very patient here. He's just slowly gaining onto the back end of this pack, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do here as he's catching up. We got Turner here in 8th, and we have seemed to have lost Fuentes a little bit, so Fuentes must have made a little bit of a mistake. He's just falling off the back of that pack a little bit, so he's got a little bit of work to do here to catch back up to these guys. But THG's Corey GT35 very early on looking in command here of this lobby again this week. So the bigger question is does anybody actually have an answer for Corey GT35 here early on in the season in the Pro-Am 2 lobbies, because he seems to be the driver that everybody needs to catch up to. We've got Painani here in 2nd place, and now again we're going to see different strategies from some of these drivers as well. It's a small field here today, so it's going to be interesting to see if we're going to see different strategies here today, or if all 9 drivers are going to run the similar strategy. But we have Mao now up into 3rd place, so OBR's Mao has taken up that final podium position. Miguel up into 4th place here with Sweaty Palms in the middle of all these OBR drivers here, sitting in 5th place and just staying very nice and patient. He's keeping the nose of that car in some good clean air, making sure that he gets good response out of that car, but he gave up some time there to JM, so he's going to have to go defensive here as we come around this big sweeping right-hander. He's going to get a little bit of that apex, make sure there's no opportunity for JM to get around there, and great defensive lines from our 5th place driver Sweaty Palms here as well. And he is purple here, but I mean all drivers are purple because it is the 2nd lap of the race. This is officially the first full speed lap here around Alsace Village. JM in 6th place here with Trone still sitting there in 7th. Turner's, yeah, starting to close back up on Trone here, and Fuentes just coming around the corner here, so starting to make up a little bit of time already on the back end of the pack here. So Corey GT35 here in 1st place, looking very strong as we come around to start lap 3 here, ladies and gentlemen. And what is that time going to be at? 150.402. So seeing very relative times comparison to that Pro-Am 1 lobby that we were broadcasting there last night. As fastest man on that racetrack last night was Apex Racing's Larry Birch with a 150.017. It was the fastest lap recorded by that driver and the fastest lap held throughout the race. So Pro-Am 2 guys right there as well, right on target with the fastest times we've seen in Pro-Am 1 lobby. So great stuff here from all of these Pro-Am drivers. And Miguel here in 4th place. We've got Sweaty Palms in 5th, and he is just working it there in the mid-pack. He is in between so many of them OBR drivers, and just, ooh, what happened there? We have a driver going way wrong there. We have Trone Kobe is now going to move up into 6th place there. Turner's going to jump up into 7th. JM's going to get 8th, and it was it was JM that made the mistake there. He's into the wall. Of course, he didn't want to come back onto the track to, of course, come out in front of traffic that was at race speed. So great job by him there. But super unfortunate incident. And much like every other division this week, we've seen one driver specifically just not have the best race start. So he is definitely on the back foot here now, as he's got to work really hard, maybe use a little bit of strategy to try and gain some time back up on this pack here. We got Mao in 3rd place, and that is going to be some damage on that race car as well, ladies and gentlemen. So he is going to have to potentially pit here as well. Miguel still in 4th place, right behind teammate Mao there, and those two chasing teammate OBR Painani. So our OBR team looking very solid here as they're filling out about half our field here today as well. Sweaty Palms still in 5th place, but he is getting some pressure from Turner here now as they're coming up the hill. We have Anthony coming in with that thumbs up as well. Much love, Anthony. Hope everybody's doing good. No, JM. Quick hello, bud. How's it going? Fantastic, Anthony. Hope you're doing absolutely amazing over there in Australia, my dude. Hope it's a beautiful day for you guys down there today. We have Turner here in 6th place. We've got Trone Kobe now up into P7. And Trone Kobe's a patient driver, so I'm going to be interested to see how much he's going to be patient and when he starts to push here. Fuentes in 8th place. Now Fuentes was a little bit on the back foot here early on in this race. He's managed to get a spot back, a little lapse of concentration there as he gets a little wide on the racetrack, and he's got about a 6 or 7 second gap to Trone Colby in 7th place. So he's got a little bit of work to do, but JM here about 6-7 seconds off of Fuentes here. So not too far out of it yet, but these two drivers definitely got some work to do to catch up the rest of the pack here. So THG's Corey, I almost called him the Corey again, chat. It was close, aka the Corey. So says the broadcaster. THG's Corey GT35 here. He is starting to really open up a gap on our 2nd place driver here. And at some point, I wonder when these drivers are going to start to review their replays and see what Corey GT35 is doing differently in comparison to them, and maybe take a little bit of that knowledge and try to apply it coming into future rounds, because somebody needs to do something different to not let this driver run away so quickly in the race already. This race is in the bag for this gentleman as long as he just keeps it right and tight and uses good pitch strategy here. So Painani is there. I mean, he's chasing. He's about 4.5 seconds behind now. He's losing about a second a lap to THG's Corey up in front, and nobody really just able to show some pace here in the Pro-Am 2 lobby for an answer for that driver so far. Not saying these guys don't have the pace, but just don't have that driver's pace currently. We got Mao here in 3rd place. With teammate Miguel just in behind here as we're coming down this downhill sweeping sector of chicanes. Ooh, comments just updated. Holy moly. Sweaty Palms here in 5th place. We've got C. Turner in 6th. Trone in 7th, and he's right tucked up in behind Turner here now. So all three of these guys really aren't battling that much. They're just kind of tucked in behind each other, and I think they're going to try and use each other to catch up to, of course, the drivers up in front here. And I mean, honestly, not a bad idea. We got Fuentes coming into the pit lane here now. Going to see if he takes in any new tires. He doesn't take tires. He's just going to come in and he's going to take some fuel and he's going to fix the damage on that race car. And that should give JM that position back on that driver there now as well. So Corey just in command right now. And pretty uneventful race for this gentleman here so far today. He's really just kind of running laps right now. Painani here in 2nd place. Try not to let that gap get too much bigger on that driver. Obviously, you don't want to lose the 1st place driver. You can still see him, so he knows that he's not out of a shot at the lead here right now. But if they continues to lose about a second a lap here, it could very quickly change for our OBR drivers trying to chase our leader here. Mao in 3rd place as well, and he's got to start to get a sizable gap in behind his teammate there as well. So starting to see the field spread out a little bit here. Sweaty Palms now moved himself up into 4th place here, and looking really solid here as well as he comes around. But he's got Turner and Trone Colby in tow with him, and again, like I said, these 3 drivers here have just been kind of not really battling, and you can see Turner just backing off there. So these guys are definitely working together. You can see Trone Colby backed off there as well. Trone had all the opportunity in the world to make the move on Turner there as Turner slowed right down not to make any contact, of course, with the driver leading the charge here in this group. So these 3 are clearly working together on the racetrack right now to catch up to those guys up in front. Turner here in 5th with Trone in 6th. We've got Miguel in 7th now after making a pit stop. No, Miguel must have made a mistake here somewhere. He's got some front aero damage on his car. JM, much of the same. He's got some aero damage on his car as well. So interesting. Well, we did see JM going to the wall though. And Fuentes now out of pit lane with a nice freshly restored race car here. So he has got to make some distance up on the racetrack here to catch up to our 8th place driver, JM. So already we're going to see pit strategies probably start to play a factor in this race here. Let's catch up with some chat. Yes, bring back the Corey. No, JM. Let's go Pro Am 2s. Corey is super fast. He is a very quick driver here. And again, showing that he's very worthy here to be running up front in this Pro Am 2 lobby. Last week at Watkins Glen, he had a pretty tidy win. And so far here, he's on track for much of the same things. So Painani here in second place. He is driving his butt off here, trying to catch up to Corey GT35 up ahead here. But right now, the goal for this driver is really just to run good, solid, clean laps and try not to be too far off pace of the guy up in front. Mao here, teammate in third place. He is, I'm going to say 5 or 6 seconds behind that second place driver, Painani here. And I'm just speculating, ladies and gentlemen, as I don't actually know what the live timing is because we don't have the live timing during a replay, unfortunately. So I do apologize about that. But we're just taking an educated guess. And here we go. We got a little battle kicking off here as we see Troll and Kobe's just gotten in front of Turner there. So again, Turner must have made a small mistake, and Troll and Kobe's finally opted to go up in front and take that middle position in this little three-way train we got going here. But Sweaty Palms is still leading this little group of cars here. And I mean, they can just see Mao up ahead as they come through that final corner, just going around corner one. So we're going to keep our eye on this and see if this little slipstream chain, that train that these guys have going on here, are going to help them catch up to third place's OBR Mao. Troll and Kobe in fifth, Turner in sixth, and again, not really battling these three. They're having a good, smart, strategic race here right now. We're actually kind of rooting for them. We love to see competitors work together to try and gain more position on the racetrack by the end of the race. So this is some fantastic racing we're seeing from these three drivers here right now. OBR Miguel is starting to slowly catch up to those guys, but he's in a tough spot here. He's all by himself, but he has clean air, and he's driving against three drivers that are kind of punching a bigger hole in the air right now and getting a little more speed and advantage when they're doing it right. But it'll be interesting to see if it's actually working or not to gain time on Miguel here. JM in 8th place, and he is about a quarter lap, sorry, not a quarter lap, about 8-9 seconds behind OBR Miguel, and Fuentes is about a quarter lap currently behind the rest of the pack here, but we did see him stop to, of course, fix some damage a little bit earlier. So we should start seeing some rounds of pit stops here from anybody who's on a two-stop strategy within the near future, probably next 2 or 3 laps if I had to guess. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out for everybody. We're just going to check the audio, so everything's still working fantastic. And Corey coming around in 8th place to start, in 1st place to start lap 8. Oh, my brain is just not working here right at the moment. Painani in 2nd place here. And again, the OBR driver looking very strong here, much like last week for Watkins Glen. He's having a very solid race for himself here. And teammate Mal behind also having a very good race for himself here. A couple of his teammates struggling a little bit early on in the race. We got Sweaty Palms opting to come into pit lane here. And Trone and Turner are going to opt to stay out longer here. So different strategies potentially from these two drivers. Be interesting to see. Miguel's now coming around. He's going to grab 6th place there from Sweaty Palms pit. JM's going to grab a position as well, move himself up into a 7th place after Sweaty's pit, and he's just going to get some fuel in that car here. And he's going to hold that position on Fuentes, it looks like, but this should allow Fuentes to close up on Sweaty Palms a little bit here and give him a chance to maybe grab a position. As Fuentes is just coming around that final sector there to the start-finish line, so he's gained some time for sure on our currently 8th place driver Sweaty Palms after making his first pit stop of the race here. So Corey just cruising here as he's almost to the point now where he is going to potentially be lapping Mr. Fuentes coming up here, but again, probably going to have to make a pit stop here in the next 2 or 3 laps. It all depends on the strategy that this driver's on. We are definitely seeing some 2-stop strategies from some of the drivers that have already pit. As I suspected, we were going to see probably a heavy 2-stop strategy field here today, but potentially we do have a couple drivers maybe thinking about a 1-stop strategy here as well. So very interesting. And let's see if Corey comes in here. He does. So our leader is going to pit in. So let's see where Painani comes out in relation here. But again, this driver may need to pit soon as well. He's going to opt to stay out. So going to go for an overcut here is Painani. And interesting, these drivers are on the same tires as well, ladies and gentlemen. So there isn't a tire advantage here or anything for Corey currently, as both these drivers did start on the same compounded tire. Mao is also on that same compounded tire as well. So all three of these drivers that were up on the podium to start this race were on the same tires. Corey in pit lane. We see Trone Colby also coming into pit lane here. Miguel is going to come around again. Sorry, JM, my mistake. My mistake, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, he's going to grab up in a P6 here. So Trone's still in pit lane. Let's see if he comes up in front of Sweaty Palms here. It does look like he should, actually. And is Sweaty Palms going to come in and pit? No, of course, we seen him pit a lap ago. So overcut working out pretty good for Trone Colby to stay ahead of Sweaty Palms there. And of course, Fuentes still chasing here in our final 9th position here. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, with only 9 drivers in the field here today, all 9 of these drivers are going to get good points. So it doesn't really matter where you finish in this race, because worst case scenario is you're going to come out here with 9th place points today. That's not bad points. So howdy, my friend. Let's go. Hey, cheers, Nolander. We appreciate you, my dude. So Painani now the second race leader here tonight in our Pro-Am 2 division, as of course he did take the race lead after THG's Corey GT35 pit in from the race lead, but we do suspect we are going to see this driver coming in very soon as well. Plenty of fuel in this race car, but it's whether or not he's going to be able to manage the tires for a couple more laps to make one stop work. It could potentially be what he is opting to do here, so we'll wait to see as he comes around and see what he chooses to do here. This is Mal, sorry. Teammate Painani is going to come into pit lane here now, and he has got a little less fuel than his teammate in behind here, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. No, he's going to come in as well, so same strategy here for the teammates. Turner's coming around here now. He's probably going to be pitting as well, as he's getting quite low on fuel here, so I do suspect we're going to see him dive in as well. And he does. So Miguel coming around, is he going to opt to go in? And he does. So Corey is going to come around, and he is going to take the race lead back from these drivers after they make their first pit stops here. The bigger question is what kind of gap is he going to have now on these guys after making that pit stop? And he is starting to catch on Fuentes here. So Fuentes is already under fire by our race leader here. Painani and Mao coming out very close together here in second and third place. Trone Colby now going with the undercut on these guys right there on the back end of the podium positions here. So very, very interesting. We got Sweaty Palms here in 5th. We've got OBR Miguel is going to come out in 6th place here. JM still going to come out in 7th. Turner is going to come out in 8th. And Fuentes again is under fire by our race leader here currently on the racetrack. So he is most certainly probably aware that Corey is there, but again, the leader is nowhere near close enough for him to really have to react to that situation right now. Now again, ideally what we like to see is have any driver that's potentially going to be put a lap down just hold the racing line, and then of course the driver that is the faster traffic or the lead lap car about to put that driver a lap down can predict what that driver is going to do, so he can analyze how he's going to move and when he's going to get around that driver. So that is the ideal situation, and that's what we see there. You can see Fuentes to stay on the racing line. Corey took the inside line there, and then of course Fuentes tucks right back in behind the leader, which is absolutely a-okay. Try to use that leader slipstream, give yourself some time. So unfortunate for Fuentes here going a lap down, but great job by this driver reacting to the race leader catching up to him here. So with that being said, we are actually going to jump on board with Corey here. He has a sizable lead right now on the field. We're going to do an onboard lap with him here. So enjoy this onboard lap with THG's Corey GT35, ladies and gentlemen. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, an onboard lap here around Alsace Village in this beautiful Subaru BRZ 300 Ti GT3 race car from our race leader, THG's Corey GT35. So you can see he's absolutely ripping around the racetrack, but Mr. Fuentes there, right in behind, who Corey just put a lap down, right there in behind him. So maintaining that pace with the leader here currently right now is Mr. Fuentes, so great job by him there, as the leader is on a blazing pace here. So Painani here in second place, and Trone is got him under pressure. Trone has now found his way around Mao. He has gotten into that podium position and now starting to put the fight to Painani here in second place. So Trone looking very racy here today in the Pro-Am 2 division as well, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, so Mao in fourth place, now chasing these two guys down here as well. Sweaty Palm still here in fifth place. He's just kind of locked into fifth place there. Now he's got a huge gap to the sixth place driver, Miguel, in behind, but he's got about a 6-7 second gap he's got to overcome here to the rest of the field, of course, chasing him up, trying to run away from him up front. Miguel here in sixth place again, you know, probably about a 10-15 second gap from this driver now to Sweaty Palms. And JM here's probably got about an 8 to 10 second gap from Miguel. Turner here is right there in behind JM, not too far away. You can just see that driver up about 2.5 seconds up the road. And Fuentes here just in behind our race leader here currently right now as they're coming around the final sector here on Alsace Village. A quadruple chicane downhill with undulating corners. Absolutely difficult racing sector here at this racetrack, this final four-way chicane, I like to call it. So great stuff here. Been a bit of a quiet race here tonight so far, obviously, with only 9 guys on the grid, but THG's Corey just in command here. I mean, like I said, unless something drastic happens to this driver here at this point, this is already a race 1 here for this driver in Pro-Am 2 here again. So really right now the battle on track is between these two drivers here with Trone and, of course, OBR's Painani. And we know that both these drivers are pretty good race car drivers, so this is going to be a good battle when it finally does decide to kick off here. And we're going to stick with these two right now because really it is kind of the only group of cars that are really close together here on the racetrack right now. And I guess it all comes down to how badly does Trone Colby want P2 right now, or is he just satisfied with being knowing the fact that he's on podium right now. He has a pretty good gap on the fourth place driver that's chasing him. Battling right now might not be the best of ideas, but when you flip the coin on the other side, when you catch a driver, ideally as a race car driver, and you think you got the pace on him, you want to get around that driver absolutely as quickly as possible so that that driver can't get into a position to start to hold you up around the racetrack when you are faster than him, because he starts to go defensive. So Trone Colby kind of in a spot where he's got to make a decision here, and Painani is going to go defensive here. So a little bit of contact between the two drivers there. You can see Trone backing off a little tiny bit. Trone was going to try and get in there to try and make a move, but Painani just going into the defensive mode there and just not giving him a lane there. So Trone Colby backing out, and he's going to wind himself back up and get right back in behind this driver and wait for another opportunity to try and find his way around. But we did see that much last week too with this driver. His defensive abilities are very good, and he is actually quite a difficult race car driver to get around. So Trone Colby definitely has his hands full trying to get second place away from OBR's Painani here. And even this tiny little bit of battling that these guys have had, which hasn't been much, has allowed teammate Mao to start to close back in on those two. So Trone is going to have to be very conscious of how much battling he does with that driver in relation to where his teammate, OBR teammate, is in behind chasing. Sweaty Palms here in fifth, and I mean, he's starting to try and track down our fourth place driver Mao as well. So we're starting to see these drivers kind of get out of their mid-race rhythms already, even though we're exactly at the midway point of the race here, just a little past it, and already thinking about the end game here. So some of these drivers are already thinking about that gap they have and trying to figure out a way to close it up. So Fuentes here still not that far off of Corey up in front now, but Corey's in a good spot here. I mean, he doesn't need to continue to absolutely just go crazy fast right now. He's got a sizable lead from second place. Really, it's about maintaining that gap right now. I'm sure he's got a number in his head that he'd like to see for when he needs to make that next pit stop, but for the most part right now, maintaining the gap really is all he needs to worry about doing, and that should be fairly easy to do as he's showing some pretty good consistency here tonight with a 150.371 now, so even improving on his best lap a little bit as well. We've seen a little bit earlier. Painani and Trone here still working each other over a little bit here as we've got Painani still holding strong in second place, but Trone is just not letting him get away. We have Mao in fourth place chasing these two down. We've got Sweaty Palms in fifth. We've got JM in sixth. We've got Turner here in seventh. We've got Miguel in eighth. And we've got Fuentes rounding out our field here in ninth place. And again, with only 9 drivers in the field, ladies and gentlemen, huge points for all 9 of these drivers. It doesn't even matter what kind of race you have tonight. With only 9 of those 15 drivers on the field here today, because ninth place points are going to shoot you up the standings, no problem. And I mean, it gives you a little more cushion for an extra bad race for a drop round in a sense as well. So all these drivers don't really need to be disappointed if they didn't have their best race here today, because they're still going to bring home pretty good points. And you can see Corey almost having a moment there. That curb, you can use a lot of that curb coming out of that exit, but you get a little bit past that curb, and it's got a really high point at the backside of the curb where it meets the grass there, and it can really unsettle these race cars a little bit. So Corey doing a great job there to realize that he went a little past that curb, and just kind of lifting off the throttle a little bit there and letting the car just roll through the curb. And that's probably what kept him from doing a little bit of do-si-do in the middle of the racetrack there. But close call there from our race leaders. Those little mistakes that can really cost you at the end of the day. And very fortunate there. The racing gods were definitely smiling upon him there. Painani here in second place and still doing a great job. He's actually lost Trone a little bit here, and Trone's now got some damage as well. So not sure what happened there, as there is no driver on Painani's car, no damage, pardon me. So Mao in fourth place, might be opportunity for him now to close in on Trone. Sweaty Palms here in fifth with JM in sixth. Turner here in seventh, and Miguel starting to close up on him a little bit there. A little bit of lag coming from that driver currently. And Fuentes here just coming around turn one right now, turn three. Sorry, turn three. But Trone going to come into pit lane here, so Trone on a interesting strategy here. He two very close together pit stops here early on in this race. Now I did say that he did have some front damage there, so good opportunity for him to get in and just get that damage fixed too before he loses any unnecessary time here in this race. But Corey's looking very solid here in first place. And let's drop this. I'm going to sneeze, so give me a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Or not, just pretending I was going to sneeze and it teased me. Alright, Painani here in second place. We got Mao in third. We've got Sweaty Palms now into fourth. With that pit stop from Trone, we got JM up into fifth. We've got Turner in sixth. We've got Miguel now up into seventh. Trone into eighth place. So, going to be interesting to see where Trone settles out after all these other drivers make their next set of pit stops here as well. I do believe that all these drivers are running that two-stop strategy here today. I don't think we're going to see one on a one-stop here in our Pro-Am 2 lobby today. We got Chad coming in with that thumbs up. We also got Matthew Johnson coming in with that thumbs up as well. Much love. Flores Caesar coming in with the follow. Much love, my dude. Welcome to the Winner Circle community. Absolutely appreciate all the support from everybody. And again, if you're new to the broadcast and you're wondering what's going on here, we are doing some league racing here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is our Pro-Am 2 division. It is one of our 5 divisions here, presented by Flat Out Racing North America. The series is sponsored by GTR Simulators and Apex Racing. I am your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming, and of course all the graphics we see here on the screen during the broadcast are supplied by High Pre Graphics. Painani now coming into pit lane here, so let's see if teammate follows suit, as we have Mal coming through here right now as well. We got Brandon coming in with that share as well. Much love, much love. Sweaty Palms coming into pit lane. JM, assuming he's going to come into pit lane here as well. As you can all see on the screen, they're getting very low on fuel. Sweaty Palms with most fuel right now currently in pit lane, so he may be able to gain some time on those two OBR drivers in front, depending on the strategy and the tire that these drivers are all switching to here. We're going to see JM also come in. Let's see if Turner and Miguel also opt to come in, or if they're going to stay out a little bit longer here. Now, as we can see, Turner has pretty good, decent fuel load there. Miguel's going to dive into pit lane there, so Trone we just seen pit, and Fuentes here looking pretty good for fuel still. Tires are starting to get a little risque, but he's got a good 3-4 laps left there yet. Is he going to get 8 more laps out of those tires? I highly doubt it, but definitely got a little bit of time left on those tires. Pardon me. Yeah. Ooh, no train of thought today. I am just a little bit out of it here today, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. Painani here in second place, with Turner now all up in his business here in third. Teammate Mao still sitting right there in fourth place. And Tron Colby is going to settle out in fifth place after this round of pit stops. And he's got a little bit of a gap to make up on the rest of the field here. So have to see how that works out for him. Sweaty Palms here in 6th. Now we got JM in 7th, Miguel in 8th, and of course Mr. Fuentes rounding out our field here in 9th place today. But Corey, who has been just in charge of this race right from the get-go, he's going to jump into pit lane here for his final stop of the race. Let's see where Painani comes out in relation. Painani's just coming around this big banked corner here. He's going to have to go all the way through this very difficult sector at the end of this long high-speed run. So he's still got a hairpin he's going to have to go through. He's going to have to go through another hard left-hand corner to go uphill, and then he's going to have to go through the quadruple chicane sector before he gets to that start-finish line. So I don't think that he is going to be quite close enough to leapfrog Corey GT35 here, as we see him just coming out right now, and those drivers are still only coming into this final sector here right now. So Painani in second place. He's going to stay in second place with Corey making his pit stop and completing that pit stop and now back out on the racetrack. The bigger question is what's that time gap? It's looking a good solid 20 seconds here. Turner in third place. We've got Mao in fourth, with Trone starting to close up here in fifth place. He is starting to make some distance up very quickly here on this group. We got Sweaty Palms here in sixth. We've got JM coming around here in seventh. We've got Miguel in eighth, and Fuentes coming around that big old bank sweeping corner here in ninth place. So, fairly uneventful race here, but it looks like we're going to have some battles kicking off here between second, third, fourth, and fifth place, if not sooner than later here on the racetrack. Hey, go Trone, says Brandon. Little late, but better late than never. Hey, ain't that the truth? I was late tonight too, so it is quite all right, my guy. And there we go. Speaking of battles, we got Turner and Mao having a battle there. Mao taking a look on Turner coming into this corner, but Turner just had a little more of a run than Mao did. Mao wasn't able to power around him there, so he had to opt to back off of Turner a little bit there and just go through the corner single file. So great job by Turner there to not allow Mao to get around easily. And Turner is now in a bit of a battle here for that third podium position. But as you guys can see on the screen there, fuel is starting to get low, so we're probably going to see a pit stop from that driver, which will give Mao that third place from him. So it'll be interesting to see. Mao had an opportunity there, looking for a cutback, and Trone, all this battling is going to allow Trone to close back in here. So this is really good for Trone, as he's starting to close up on these two guys battling for that final podium position here. And you can see Mao is just absolutely working on Turner, and Turner is just not giving him anything. There is just no way that Turner is going to let him get by until Turner decides that Mao can get by. And that may very well be as he comes around the corner here and dives into pit lane. That's exactly what we're going to see. But now Trone is back in this battle. So we know Trone's going on the outside there. We can see him in the mirror. He is going to go for the cutback. Is he going to get it done? Trone Colby getting a really good run coming out of the corner. He needs to slot in front of this driver before this sweeper here, so he can go defensive if he needs to. And Trone immediately pulling in front of that driver, and he is going to keep that car on the inside line. Make sure there is no way for Mao to get around. So Trone Colby back up into that third and final podium position here with 6.5 laps remaining, ladies and gentlemen. But Mao responding. Trone not getting the best exit out of that corner. Mao is back all over him here. Let's get outside of these cars and let's take a look with these guys as battles. We're coming into this hard right-hand corner here. Mal's going to go for the big run here, see if he can grab some steam. Patron getting a great exit coming out of that corner, managing to keep that little tiny bit of gap there of about 0.3 of a second between these two drivers. So currently right now Sweaty Palms in 5th place is got to be liking what he's seeing here. So I'm sure he's seeing that live timer coming down by 0.2 here, 0.2 there, 1/10 here. Might not be sure what's going on yet, as you can't quite see what's going on with these drivers, but he is definitely getting closer in behind our 4th place driver Mao here now, with that little bit of battling between him and Tron Colby. So some great battling between these two drivers, and Tron Colby is going to come back out onto the podium here. But again, we still have 5 laps remaining when these guys come back across the start finish line, so plenty of race left for these drivers yet today. JM here in 6th. We've got Miguel in 7th. We've got Turner in 8th after making, of course, a pit stop there. And Fuentes, oh, ho, ho, just getting it together. Great job there. You just keeping the car out of the wall there. So good job. He was just coming out of pit lane there, so some very cold racing tires, and they just got a little hard on the throttle there. But again, great job getting it together, keeping it out of the wall, and let's get back on the gas pedal and just get back up the racetrack there. So not having the best day for him, but still, like I said, 9th place points here for him today, even not having the best of days. So you know, you got to take the positive with the negative sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, and that's definitely a positive to get 9th place points for a last place finish in a race. We got Painani here in 2nd place. Tron Colby here still holding 3rd place down, but Mao is not going to let him just drive away. So it's going to be quite interesting to see if another battle develops between 3rd and 4th place drivers here. But Sweaty Palms is starting to get into this battle here as well. He has started to really close up on these two drivers up in front of him here. So potential 3-way battle going to be developing for our final podium position here as our race nears an end. JM in 6th with Miguel in 7th, Turner in 8th, and he has got definitely some space to make up. And of course Mr. Fuentes here in 9th place. But Corey has just dominated this race from start to finish. The only time he hasn't led this race was for about 2 laps when he made a pit stop and Painani took the lead, and then he got it right back when that driver pits. So just been a dominant race here from Corey GT35 again this week. And I mean, what else can you say? You know, hats off to this driver. He's obviously putting in the work. He's definitely been putting in the tuning and the testing time. Mechanics really seem to have that car dialed in, and he's on the track doing the rest. So great team effort here from the THG team in the Subaru BRZ and Pro-Am 2 lobby, as they have definitely got this driver looking very solid here this year. Painani in 2nd place. He's still got a pretty good gap on 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place, pardon me, but a mistake will very quickly change that from this driver as well. So he isn't out of the woods yet. We could see Corey make a decent-sized mistake here and potentially not lose the lead, but Painani's not so much in that comfortable position as the leader of the race is. Troen in 3rd place, obviously on the final podium position. Definitely got to be thrilled about that, but he has a lot of work yet ahead of him to keep Mao and Sweaty Palms from taking that position away from him. He still has 4.5 laps to keep these guys behind him to secure that final podium position here this week. We have JM here in 6th. We've got Miguel in 7th. We've got Turner in 8th, and Mr. Fuentes here in 9th place. Corey is, I don't know, that gap's got to be close to 30 seconds by now. He could literally spin right now and still be okay. Ian Travers coming in with that share as well. Much love, my dude. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. We got Rallycross saying greetings. Sweaty Palm is one fast dude. Hey, facts. How is the tournament so far? Hey, it's been a great season so far, my dude. I mean, we can't complain. You guys are putting lots of action on the racetrack. I mean, what else do you ask for as a broadcaster, right? You just want the drivers to put on a show, and then it makes life easy for us as broadcasters. So a little bit of a slow one here today. Again, small field, but definitely been some good battling happening in the mid-pack here, especially for this final podium position all race long. This is probably swapped to about 5 or 6 different drivers here throughout the race, and right now Tron Colby's currently the one holding that final position down, but Mao is still right there. He hasn't let Tron get away from him by any stretch of the imagination here, and maybe waiting just to start pushing a little bit here towards the end of the race. Sweaty Palms here, who was starting to pull in on these guys, now just kind of sitting at a nice comfy gap in behind these guys. And I can definitely comfortably tell you that Sweaty Palms is definitely on some worse tires than the two guys in front, so might be tough for him to grab any positions from those two drivers as this race progresses further. JM here in 6th place. He's got much better tires than the guy he's chasing in front of Sweaty Palms, but there's a big gap there. Miguel here in 7th place. Miguel does have opportunity to potentially grab a position here yet from JM up ahead. Turner here in 8th place. He's going to need somebody to make a mistake to grab another spot at this point, and much of the same from Fuentes here, of course, as well. But Corey GT35 just cruising. I mean, he's just out here for a drive today, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody has had an answer for this guy all season long so far. So it's going to be interesting to see if somebody has an answer for this gentleman coming next week's race on Blue Moon Infield A. Go Trone, push Trone. Hey, look at that. We got some Trone Colby fans up in the house here. We got some THG fans up in the house. We got some OBR fans up in the house today. We love to see the support for the drivers. That's what it's all about. We do appreciate that. The drivers love it, ladies and gentlemen, so keep rocking it. It's the reason why we do it, is all you amazing viewers out there sitting there watching in the comfort of your own homes, or from your office, or stuck in a traffic jam, or wherever it is that you're watching. If you're watching in a traffic jam, don't drive and watch racing at the same time. Might put bad ideas in your head. Don't suggest it. 150.186 is now the new fastest lap from Corey GT35, so getting very close to what we're seeing in our Pro-Am 1 lobby times as well. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, there is 2 different Pro-Am divisions here in the series this year. We had 32 drivers so closely paired in their qualifying times that it just made sense to put 2 Pro-Am divisions in play this season and have them battle it out for the top prize at the end of the season, because of how closely these drivers were all in their time splits from 1 to 32. So that is why we are seeing 2 Pro-Am divisions, in case anybody was wondering. And you know, next season it's hard to say what's going to happen. I mean, every season's a new season, but these guys are absolutely just putting on a racing clinic here in France today. And Corey GT especially really just kind of rolling around the racetrack here at this point. I mean, this driver really has nothing to worry about anymore. He's not anywhere near another car on the racetrack as far as lap traffic goes in front of him, so that shouldn't become an issue for this driver, as there's only a couple laps remaining. And yeah, he's just got to keep it on the racetrack, and he's good to go. Painani here, much of the same thing at this point. He's really started to open up that gap on Trone Colby in 3rd place. So Painani's just got to do the same thing. He's just got to keep it nice and tight and right on the racetrack, and he's going to bring home a 2nd place finish for himself today. Trone Colby here as well was definitely a little disappointed in how his first round went when I was talking to him after the races last week, and he definitely said that he was gonna work harder to try and get a better result here this week, and so far sitting in 3rd place. So the extra hard work currently paying off for Trone Colby here. Mao chasing, but just not able to stick with Trone at this point, as Trone is just slowly opening the gap little bit by a little bit from our driver chasing in 4th place. But Sweaty Palms now kind of starting to close in on Mao as well, so Sweaty Palms may be thinking about grabbing one more position if possible here before the end of this race. Lap 24 of 25, ladies and gentlemen, so we are definitely drawing to an end here tonight. And JM here in 6th. We've got Orbiar's Miguel in 7th. We've got Turner here in 8th and Fuentes in 9th. If any of the drivers are going to be here for a live interview at the end of the race, please make sure to add me to the chat, as I don't think I'm in the Pro-Am 2 division chat. Corey GT35 in the lead, and just cruising. I mean, what else can we say? We said much of the same thing last week from this driver. He had a little bit more battling happening at the early stages of the race, but once he got away from the pack, I mean, he got away from the pack and that was it. And again, it's the exact same thing here tonight. So pretty uneventful night here for this driver, which is not always a bad thing when you're chasing a championship, but
Sometimes you get a little bit complacent behind the wheel of that race car when you haven't had too much going on around you all race long, and that tends to let your mind wander a little bit. You might lose concentration for a split second and lose just enough focus to make that mistake. But so far here, Corey's showing he is locked in and wanting a championship this season. So we are going to stick with Corey here. He's just coming around right now. We'll be keeping our eye on this driver. Obviously, we don't want to miss him come around the start-finish line for his last time. So he is on the final lap of the race here. Our race leader is going to take the white flag this time around. We've got Painani coming around. His white flag is waiting for him as he comes around these final couple corners here. And second place on his final lap as well is OBR driver Painani. So good solid race coming from this driver here. We got Trone coming around in third, couple more corners. He's going to start his white flag lap here as well. And still got Mao right there in the review mirror, so he can't feel too comfortable here right now himself. And Mao has a whole mirror full of sweaty palms as well. So both these drivers trying to gain a position, but also trying to not lose the position to the guy chasing in behind. So it's going to be interesting to see Scott Arthur coming in with that thumbs up as well. Much love, my dude. We've got JM here in 6th place with OBR Miguel in 7th. We've got Turner here in 8th, and we've got Mr. Fuentes here in 9th. Potentially a controller driver is Turner there in 8th place, as we've been seeing his flashlights flashing a lot around the cornering. That's usually a telltale sign that a driver's on controller. And Corey, again, that's twice we've caught him unnecessarily pushing really at this point, sending himself really wide in, around the corner exit on the racetrack there, and again going much wider than he needed to there. He took a whole lot of grass on those two right tires and somehow managed to keep it underneath of him there. That could have been very bad for this driver, as that's a bad spot to catch the grass and spin out, because there is walls everywhere around you. So very fortunate there is Corey, and this guy must have 9 lives here today, because we have seen a couple of very close calls out of this driver here this evening. But he's going to come around here. He's got 2 corners left, and he's going to secure back-to-back wins here in the Pro-Am 2 lobby to start this season. So congratulations to THG's Corey GT35, back-to-back wins here, round 1 at Watkins Glen, and now here round 2 at Alsace Village. Painani having a great race for himself here again this weekend, and he is going to bring home a beautiful P2 for Team OBR here. So congratulations to Painani, as well as he's just going to come around that, there it is, get his checkered flag. And rounding out our podium here today is Trone Colby. So congratulations to Trone, and the hard work paying off. Newest THG driver to the team here, coming out representing big time for the team, bringing home in final podium position. So 2 THG drivers holding that podium here for Pro-Am 2 this weekend. Fantastic stuff. Mal finishing in 4th with Sweaty Palms very close behind in 5th. We've got JM here in 6th, and he has Miguel right there on his tail. So Miguel not close enough to make a move here, so teammates going to finish right in behind each other in 6th and 7th place. So maybe a nice little team photo there for Team OBR out of this replay. So great job to JM and Miguel. And of course Turner coming around here as Fentis finished last time around the track there at the finish line. And Turner going to round out our field here in that final position of 8th place. So great job to all the drivers on the racetrack here. But huge congratulations to Trone, Painani, and of course Corey GT35 once again, ladies and gentlemen. So what we are going to do is jump over. We're going to see if the chat is available for podium interviews, and if not, I do know that we definitely have a write-up from Painani as one of the drivers, but we'll go and check on it. So we're going to flip you over to the podium interview screen, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back in approximately about 1 minute's time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I do apologize about the little bit of extra delay there. I don't have access to the Pro Am2 lobby chat, so I had to just make a new chat quickly and add some of the guys. We do have Trone with us here tonight, actually, to talk with us about his race here. And of course, Trone was our third place finisher here tonight, and he had a really good race. I initially thought he was actually going to do a one stop there based off of his first pit stop, but then he threw a little bit of a curveball strategy at us, took a really, really short stint, and then finished out with a longer stint. But nonetheless, a little bit of a different strategy from the rest of the drivers in the field, but really solid race for you coming out in third place here tonight. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how the race felt and how it went for you?
Um, the race. Well, I I really qualified in P2, but I got kicked out of the lobby and ended up in last place when I came back. My initial plan was a three-stop. I had to place for it, but obviously I had to change that because of my situation. Um, I I just hung out in the back and saved a little fuel. Think about what to do. I picked because I've been tested to two-stop. To be honest, um, that 15. That's I was following Panani, and that's all. And I was following them too close. I missed the turn and I crashed into it. If I hadn't done that, I would have been in the battle with them still after I pitted. But my race was good. Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
All right, so
Oh,
we did hear it there. We did see Tron Colby with damage there in that second stint. We weren't sure where it was. We know that he was very close behind the second place driver. So Tron confirming there that he was just following a little too close to Painani there, and then he just missed his braking point or turning point on one of the corners there, and suffered a little bit of damage on that race car. So having to force him to change the strategy up a little bit, but really fantastic race for me. I mean, we get a chance to broadcast and watch you race in other leagues here as well. So we love to see you here at Flat Out Racing North America as well. And it's we've been having the chance to talk to you a fair bit lately here, especially near the end of those seasons in the other leagues there, where you're really starting to find your pace and really starting to battle harder at the front of the pack. And it seems like very early on with Flat Out Racing North America here, you're very well suited where you've qualified and finding some great pace, and again here tonight finding your way onto the podium position. So first one of the year for you. I know you weren't overly happy with how Watkins Glen went for you in round one, but how you feeling now after a good strong race here tonight, getting a P3 finish?
pretty good, pretty good. This track is one of my stronger tracks, and I feel pretty good.
Awesome. And I mean, again, just a fantastic race. Mr. Tron Colby, and of course, just joining in with Team THG there as well recently. So, congratulations as well on that. And I'm
Thank you.
sure that the boys back at the clubhouse are pretty thrilled to see you bring home a podium in your very first race with the team tags. So, congratulations and shoutouts, my guy.
Shout outs to TA for giving me the opportunity to join them. Shout out to Flat Out Racing. Um, I was a little skeptical about joining this. Take a shot now. I'm here. Shout out to all the sponsors, HPAC Racing, Guards, shout out to Ghost for great commentary. I feel pretty good about it. The Super Rule seems pretty solid here. It's gonna be a tight race for sure, so look out.
Hey, well, there we
Hopefully
go.
I'll bring on with the
Drone Kobe says he's a coming for you, so look out, boys, in Pro Am 2 lobby next week at Infield A. Well, congratulations, my man, and great race, and we'll see what you have for us next week.
alright. I can't wait.
All right, so definitely appreciate the time from Trone here to take the time in and come in a few days after his race and do a little bit of a live talk with us here. It seems like the drivers have been responding to these podium interviews quite well. It seems like that they really do enjoy to get the chance to talk about it. So fantastic stuff. We do not have our second place driver with us here tonight. He did, however, send me a write up, so we do have a few things to say on behalf of OBR Painani here. And just let me bring up my notes for you, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll go through what Painani had to say here today for his second place finish. So he wants to start off by saying thank you. He's very grateful for everything that is happening with the league. It's his second race, and it is one of the most fun that GT7 has given him. The advice of Diego, Manuel, Indio, and everyone in OBR has helped him not only to improve, but also to have more fun. And ladies and gentlemen, that really is the most important thing when we're league racing here. You want to go out there and you want to have fun. So, I'm glad to hear that the drivers are responding in this way, because that is the whole point. OBR is very grateful for Morin's invitation and to the drivers who have given battle in these two races. Wow, such clean drivers. Those moments are so much fun without them driving. At that level of cleanliness was not so entertaining. They wanted to elevate it to reality, and believe me that I did the best to get to their level. It's difficult but great. I did not know that the narrations were going to be so pro. Thank you, RR Goes 45. I didn't know your name. It's all good, my dude. And no, you know what? You don't need to be sorry, my man. That not long enough in my opinion. But he doesn't have any shout outs here, so I mean, obviously he's going to be very thankful to Team OBR, which we did hear in his statement there. And of course, like all the drivers love to say here, thank you to Flat Out Racing, the sponsors GTR Simulators and Apex Racing, and great stuff here by all our drivers. Home time. Hope everyone had a great night of racing. It was a pretty good night, Joe, my dude. I'm glad to hear you're safe and sound, my guy. Coming in with that like as well. All right, so Corey, we don't have a Mr. Corey here. We're going to take one more quick look to see if I have him online in the list to send him into the chat here, but I don't think so. We got a lot of names on the list. Just this is going to take a minute, chat. Bear with. No, we don't have him online here, and he actually didn't send us a write-up, but I'm sure that he's quite thrilled for back-to-back wins here today, and to share. Much love, my dude. That hasn't popped up on my thingamajigger yet. Let's bring him up here. Let's get that name up there. There we go, in the gold. The big winner here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, THG Corey GT35. And again, just another dominating race by this driver. Clearly, he's been putting in the work. He's been working hard with the team, obviously behind the scenes, coming up with good strategies. He has great consistency. And at the end of the day, the consistency is really paying dividends here for this driver. So, like I said in the broadcast, if I were to give any advice to the competition on the racetrack, chasing this man in the standings right now, save your replays and watch his race. Watch his throttle inputs, watch his braking rhythm, watch how he's operating that race car, and try to pick up what he's doing in that race car and bring it into your next race. Other than that, I mean, Corey is proving to be the dominant driver so far early on here in the series. So I'm not sure if there is any other drivers really that have the answer for him right now. We do see Painani and Tron Colby. We see a couple other drivers in this Pro-Am 2 lobby, with a couple that weren't on the track today, that definitely have pace. But if they can't keep this guy in the pack for more than a couple of laps, THG's Corey GT35 very well could run away with this here this season. But anything can happen in this racing, ladies and gentlemen. There are lots of different types of racetracks coming up on the list. Some are going to suit this BRZ and some are not. And that could change the mentality of the drivers as well when their car isn't so good on a racetrack. So we got 8 rounds remaining, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back Saturday evening. You sent it? Beautiful. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. I don't have you on my friends list. Otherwise, we do you live there. Fantastic. All right, so we got the rate up for our winner here. All right.
It's been an awesome start to the season, but it's early days. There is lots of racing left. Thanks to GTR Simulators, Apex Racing, of course, his team, THG, and of course his wife for putting up with him spending far too much time in the rig. Thanks GT45 for the amazing comms. Hey, we appreciate you, Corey. We appreciate you. And I mean, Team THG really not too upset about how their weekend went here at Flat Out Racing North America. As you can see on the screen in front of you, two of their drivers rounding out the podium here today. First and third place finishes for Team THG, and OBR fitting right in between there, standing in the middle of those two drivers on second place. So massive congratulations to all three of the drivers on our podium, but not just those drivers. Congratulations to all the drivers that showed up, made it on track, got those cars around the racetrack, and all 9 of our drivers did finish this race here tonight. And again, with only 9 drivers in the field tonight, very good points for each one of these drivers in the field. So even if they feel like they haven't had their best race here in round 2, it gives them basically a free opportunity for another drop round to have another bad race, because 9th place finish really isn't all that bad when you have 15 drivers competing for a championship, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. To all the returning viewers, much love. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for coming in, liking and sharing out the stream every single night. You guys are the reason why this is very, very quickly the hottest series in North America currently running. And I mean, much love to all our new viewers. If you love what you're seeing here, if you love the racing shown here by Flat Out Racing, by all our divisions, our drivers on track, you love the way that the community vibe is, do us a favor, hit that subscribe or follow button depending which platform it is you're watching on, and turn on all live notifications. You'll never ever miss another heart-beating moment here at Flat Out Racing. And if you wouldn't mind to like and share that out for us too, that'd be fantastic. Those are a couple free things you can do for us to help our pages out grow and continue to provide great content for all our racing fans worldwide. I apologize about any background noise as well, ladies and gentlemen. But again, thank you everybody for tuning in. This has been an amazing week of racing here from Flat Out Racing. Round 2 was an absolute smashing success. And round 3 of Blue Moon Infield A, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be an absolutely fantastic, chaotic, action-packed filled weekend of racing from all 5 divisions. It is a fast, technical, short racetrack. We're going to be doing 40 laps around Blue Moon Infield A next weekend, because these lap times around this track, ladies and gentlemen, are just over a minute long. So stay tuned for more from Flat Out Racing North America. I am your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. The sponsors here, GTR Simulators and Apex Racing. And special shout out to IMB Racewear, coming in, partnering with, of course, Flying Frogs Racing, and in cooperation with Flat Out Racing North America. Going to design some sim shoes, some sim shirts, some gloves, all the great stuff that IMB Racewear makes over there in the amazing United Kingdom. This guy's a legend, ladies and gentlemen. So special shout out to IMB Racewear for coming in and providing us some gear to buy and perform better as sim racers. Those racing shoes are amazing. It's amazing how much that changes your driving when you're in your rigs. So a little more information, go check them out at IMB Racewear, www.imbracewear.com, ladies and gentlemen, and go check out what he has there, because they got some fantastic sim racing attire for every sim racer, for every need. And little shout out to High Pre Graphics for our beautiful sights of what we see here as well. Most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, stay winning. Kilt coming in with that like and share right at the last minute as well. We got Anton Colbert coming in with that like. We really do appreciate everybody's support week in and week out. Yes, Joe, just give me about 5 minutes after the stream if you wouldn't mind. And yeah, good job everyone. Watch out next week. Ooh, there we go. The drivers are absolutely feisty here. We got the drivers in the chat, and they are telling each other, you ain't winning this time. It's mine this week. That's what we like to see, ladies and gentlemen. The motivation is high. The vibe is fantastic at Flat Out Racing North America, and the competition is thick and plentiful. So Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, AM Division broadcast live, ladies and gentlemen. That's correct. You heard me right, live, right here at GT45 Gaming's Facebook and YouTube, and also on the Flat Out Racing North America YouTube channel as well. And we're going to be bringing in a special guest here for this weekend's amateur division race as well. We are bringing in another commentator, ladies and gentlemen, to come and hang out with us and call the race with us as well. Who that commentator is, you guys are going to have to tune in to find out. We're not going to tell. We're going to let you sit and stew on that for a couple days. Use your imaginations. It's a fantastic gentleman, great member of the community, another great streamer over on Facebook and YouTube as well, and we can't wait to bring him into the series and get him in the high flying action here at Flat Out Racing North America. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks everybody for listening to me for like 7.5 hours this week. You guys are absolutely legendary, and I appreciate all the support from every single one of you. Much love out there. Be safe. The weekend is approaching, and remember, daily life is not a racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. We can't just full send it around the city to get to work. Be safe out there. Be considerate. And most importantly, again, ladies and gentlemen, stay winning. Thank you so much for being here.